Welcome to the sort of Marvel episode of Media Munchers. Just a bit of a heads up, we're gonna sound a little rougher than last time because we recorded in a different place with a different setup. After this one, it's gonna sound a little better, hopefully. Also, I want to give a shout out to Chroma and Rugarth of the ULTIMANAUTS LP. These two British fucks deserve some bit of love. I'm gonna put their little channel in the description. And that's about it. Have fun. This is fucking stupid.
And we are go. Fucking. Alright. Yeah, man. the return. This single fucking return after fucking March. I want to say maybe earlier, February. Nah, it's not. Shut the fuck up. Dude. That's not. No. Dude, it has been a fucking lifetime. I keep forgetting what the fuck it was like. What the hell's the name? What the hell the name of the podcast was supposed to be?
We didn't have a name for the cast. We kind of just went with our names.
Yeah, first we just went. It was fucking Frosties because it was fucking two Nick Frost little bitch. And then it's just, I guess it's Rat and Shining Wizard.
There you go. Yeah. Rat and the Wizard have returned.
All right, yeah, it's a fucking.
Frosty is keeping it frosty.
We keeping it cool, keeping it frosty right now.
There you go.
How the fuck has your life been, motherfucker? Bring up the pandemic-sized elephant in the room.
Yeah. Well, on that note, it's been rather quiet, seeing as you go outside and nobody's out. It's starting to pick up now.
Yeah.
But for the better part of this entire year so far.
Yeah.
Just everyone's been behind closed doors.
I have been home stuck for probably 3-4 months. Probably.
Shit.
It's even later on when it was kind of it's a little bit more loose, I still feel hesitant to even go out because just how there's from the fucking scare of everything, how much it really was affecting people. Even it happened with some of my family, it got really fucking bad.
Yeah. It very, very quickly became a thing of, alright, so just to neutralize what's going on, everybody just kind of stay indoors.
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of taking it differently around the world, but for here in New York especially, it's very much the city that never sleeps is taking a nap for a while.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad, at least for the most part, they wanted to keep it as really mostly well camped as possible. Versus fucking Florida, when it first started, oh no, fuck you, we gotta have a spring break, and then there were people coming up with getting infected immediately,
And everyone was alright, well, spring break is over. Have fun enjoying your summer indoors.
Yeah, and fucking enjoying your summer, fucking coughing like a maniac and not tasting,
hacking up along and. Or the people that just cough just because they have a cough, there's nothing wrong, and then you're outside, you're waiting in line to go to anywhere, and you have to cough, and it has nothing to do with
you don't have any symptoms, but even for me, sometimes I have that, but it's mostly because a little bit of phlegm, I'm asthmatic a bit,
right?
So it's a tiny little phlegm, just want to just cough it out, If I fucking went out in fucking March, just doing that shit, I would be fucking there would be daggers right at my goddamn face.
It's the anime eyes in the trees kind of thing. You just see the eyes.
Yeah, and the fucking popping veins. It's terrifying.
I was waiting in line to go to the supermarket because at that time it was a limit. This store is at least 300 square feet.
Yeah,
about 300 square feet. And they only allowed 10 people in at a time. And I'm waiting outside to get stuff for dinner. And I had to cough. I was on the phone and I had to cough. And I'm people are already looking. Once they see the jitter in the belly, they're like, oh shit. So I'm just looking around and holding on to my own air for dear life.
Even if at least be cautious, you cough in your mouth, they would still fucking. They would bring that carrot and shove it right down your throat.
Nobody's touching any carrots.
No.
Nobody's touching any carrots. And if you touch a carrot, nobody's using that carrot.
Only the super vegans that say they're immune to corona. They could just walk outside. I don't know, it's just fucked. Even until now, after Okay. Like kind of 2 seasons worth. 2 seasons.
It has been 2 seasons worth. It ran through the entirety of the spring. We're still in the summer, and I, for one, enjoy swimming in the pools. They did say they opened, and you just have like this instinctive thing where it's like, I'm not.
I don't trust it.
Yeah. Even if you really want to, because I really do enjoy to swim. Just like, nah, I'm not doing it. It's not time for that.
I can't.
So it's just been ACs and marathons for the time that we've been in here.
I'm like the opposite. Even if I have like the last time we talked, I have these big ass like DVD collection, like a big portion I've never looked at. I haven't looked at yet.
You're motivated
half a year later, I've only made a little dent.
I was expecting you to say there's been an interesting motivation to say, I'm in here, might as well spend my time doing something else. You just kind of run out of things to do, or all right, let me just try this out. He's made a dent.
only a dent. At least I watched Yellow Submarine. At least.
Which one's that one?
The Beatles. The
Right.
Beatles animated movie.
Right.
That was definitely one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect anything from that fucking movie. At least within the pandemic, I at least took time to listen to the entire Beatles discography, and that was an experience for me. Just going through their early stuff, their early Jibby Job, Beatlemania stuff, into their most experimental, then all the way to Abbey Road.
Yeah,
cry like a bitch.
It's interesting when you can take an artist and through their music you just kind of follow the span of their life through their career. Johnny Cash is a really good example of that. Mm-hmm. You go from the earlier songs where he's with the Tennessee 3, and then you go jump to Cocaine Blues where it's more he's high octane, he's partying all the time, and then it starts to slow down as his life goes along, and you get to Hurt, for example. Yeah,
he gets a Hurt he's just tired. Right at the end. He was just tired.
There's a lot of wisdom that came from that too, because you can you can feel in his music that he's coming to an understanding of himself, and a lot of his music from that towards the end of his career kind of gives you a synopsis of what he's taken away from his experiences, right? And the rest of his music helps paint that picture too.
Yeah, it's kind of a beautiful way to look at it. I know for sure, that is really interesting to go through, because even thinking some bands like Metallica, you go through all their albums, there's shifts, but it's mostly in tone.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not with Metallica. It's more just the sound of their music as opposed to a chronicle of their life. You can't really pan anything from that.
Then again, it's it was mostly it's mostly a group instead of just one man writing all the music.
As long as you skip Saint Anger, you're fine.
God, really one of my favorite things, my favorite things ever is just the aspect, just the evolution itself, because it always fascinates me just seeing shit how they rise up or go down, how they just change over time,
how they adapt. To their current state.
Yeah. But it's not it's still rings true, fucking with shit like Metallica. They had their crazy thrasher shit, when I first Kill 'Em All, then later on with Ride of Lightning and Master of Puppets, tip top fucking tier. Then there's a little waning, fucking Black Album, Justice for All. Then just the weird squiggly load and reload. I don't load that much. At least S&M was pretty good. Then just went straight up garbage.
They actually released S&M too not that long ago.
Yeah, I didn't check that one out.
Well, I'm a wrestling fan, so it shows up one way or the other. So Moth into a Flame was used for one of the recent pay-per-views. That's something that has changed too. Everything has been affected, to just put it in a lack of better phrasing, to where if you watch a show now, they've instead of having the live audience that they usually have, they'll actually have members from their performance center. And just recently did a thing where they have people watching virtually from home, and the crowd is now replaced with LED screens with viewers in their homes.
Oh god!
Everything has been affected.
That sounds It sounds kind of creepy. It sounds creepy.
It's an odd
what I'm thinking right now, like it probably isn't the case.
Go ahead.
I could just imagine like you have like 80,000 seats. There's like 80,000 like little screens like with their faces.
Oh,
just
like
watching
TVs?
it. Yeah.
No, all right. So it's that's half right. So imagine it being like long LED boards. So there's no like seating. It's like LED boards like going up from one another.
Sure.
So it's not like just one solid wall.
Yeah.
It's a row, and then higher up is like a LED board slightly behind that, but above that one, and it goes up for a while. So in a way, it is the crowd. The crowd is there, but there's something about the again the long LED boards. You can still hear like crowd noise and stuff. It's like
ending as like chip crunch.
No, it's not. It's actually pretty good. Like you watching
Really?
it, yeah, it sounds like you're in a live event. It's an odd look. It feels like it's an odd look into the future. Like at some point we're all just gonna be in our homes indefinitely, and you can just kind of watch from home, and everybody sort of watches from home. It does lend to the feel of it, where
right
you get the feeling as far as like the audio of like, all right, this is them at a live event.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they brought pyro back and everything.
Like pyrotechnics?
Yeah,
Like,
so they stopped it for a while because there was a lot of like hazards that happened in the instance where like stuff had caught fire.
Oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, so they moved away from the pyro, but since they're indoors and there's not really anybody else there, they can bring the pyro back.
Right. Okay. Like, I could also think like if you have like a very eccentric fan, like they're watching this on screen, they're yelling so loud, but like instead of just hearing like a nice like clean like nice scream, you just hear. It's just like they scream so loud. It's just like if you just see the audio, it's just a brick.
It is just it's a large amalgamation of TV static.
Yeah. It's like how the fuck can you like how the hell you do that? You must have some really good fucking like good audio for that shit. Fuck.
They did a really good job with it. On the flip side, where we're talking about everyone staying indoors, one thing that I've picked up now in this time is that nature's more present outdoors.
Yeah. What do you mean?
And all right, so I'm gonna try and correlate it. So I've seen something where it was like a projection of what the Earth would look like if humans just disappeared.
Oh yeah,
day.
like that fucking documentary like they showed in fucking high school.
I don't remember that documentary.
No, I watched
it's like
it,
after 100,000 years. Like first, it's like domesticated animals make their way out.
Yeah,
and they'll meet with wild animals, and the food chain sort of sorts itself out.
Yeah,
and then whoever like remains as far as animals go, they'll just adapt to evolution now because things are different.
Yeah,
and by the time overgrowth takes over, the Earth sort of just resets, and it's back to mostly nature, and anything that's man-made is just like remnants. So we are far from that. Thankfully.
Yeah, we're still here.
But if you've taken a look outside and not looked for people, you'll notice that things do feel different as far as the nature aspect. The sky's a lot clearer for one. Mm. I don't know if you've noticed, but like if you breathe the air here, because we're in New York.
Yeah, like this shit's like
the air here is clearer now because there's less of an emission.
Yeah.
Because nobody's for a while, people weren't really at work. Everyone was indoors for real.
Yeah, like this shit, like.
Man, I saw a possum. I saw a possum out front of my house, and that's one thing that I've been doing. I've been chilling out there. I'm like, all right, just get the feel of being outside.
Just like a full fucking possum.
At this point, I've seen a possum 3 times. I am certain that it's the same possum.
That's funny. And
I've yet to see a possum out here. I've seen possums in like Jersey. If you're going to like a cabin, to spend a weekend there.
Like I've only seen like a possum or even like a raccoon like once in my lifetime in New York, like once. Well, probably like twice because like another friend of mine like showed me like their place and there was like a bunch of like fucking possums and raccoons just chilling out. But like they were like in a very like different, peculiar corner in the town. But like, yeah, like because I spend like so much like indoors, like I never really see nature. If you have looked at my window, there's only another building, so like I can't like experience nature anyway.
Right.
So, but like just a couple weeks ago, actually, when
I had to help my sister like move her stuff to like her dorm room like upstate, and looking out like it was like a sort of movie moment because like my older sister brought her dog, and like you see him like getting so happy just like looking out the window seeing like how everything wide open. I was the exact same fucking thing. Like it was beautiful. Like you know, like normally the people would be like kind of like bored like during long drives.
Oh yeah, like the portion where it's just road. There's not really the pit stops are miles between each other, and in between that is just like fields.
Yeah, it's just like
of like gold or green.
Yeah.
Like
for me though, like
that's relaxing. I don't know, but
like
that's really relaxing.
Like it does like come to perspective like how much you take in things like when you were a kid versus now, because like it's always like within like the road trip kind of stuff, like road trip movies. You see like the kid fucking like shaking because like they have fucking so much energy to fucking like to like expel.
They're not gonna stay in the car.
They don't want to stay in the car at all. Me, I'm just vibing, bro. I'm just chilling. Like I fucking like I see like all the trees. I take more appreciation of fucking trees. Like it's like because like before I used to like hate like trees, especially like drawing them.
Right.
Like mostly just drawing because like those shit are a fucking bitch to make. They're just like just looking out like in the windshield, aside from like a little bugs that are splattered on it, like. Just seeing like how they work, I appreciate it so fucking much. Seeing the clouds, I'm like, yo, where the fuck have I been, bro? Like,
the earth is
it's like shit, it's fucking cool. I deeply appreciate fucking nature a bit more,
especially now. Like, you can feel that because we're not so present out there is allowed to be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have an abundance of creatures that you don't usually see, especially out here in New York.
Yeah, no. Like,
I've not seen the possum before this. I've seen raccoons before, but I've not seen the possum before this.
Right.
I watched a baby bird take a hornet live and take it back to its nest.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, well, you don't need Nat Geo for that. That is your...
It sounds so stupid. Like we're a bunch of old. We're like sound like old fucks. Or like
I'm talking literally about sitting out front of my house.
We're just like looking.
That is by the book.
Like I hope we're not coming off as like those old fucking like geezers who are like, oh, the people like look at their phones all day. Bitch, I want to listen to some other creator. I want to listen to some Offspring. While look at a fucking bird eat a hornet and bring it into its nest.
Yeah, man.
You know?
All you're missing is the rocking chair, and the old gentleman setup is complete.
All you need is a giant stick up your ass, and then you're set. You're an old man for life, man. Fuck. Do they even exist anymore?
What old? What do you wait?
But not old men, obviously. You fuck. I mean, like, just like those kind of like how much do you really see like the old people that are like the. How much do you see that old people like really go like crazy over kids like looking at smartphones and shit? Like we're kind of like we're still like adapt because
we're talking about like the generational divide, where it's like you see a kid on a phone and you're like, you're like,
because like I remember we used to like see it a whole bunch, especially like in like the early 2010s or whatever, like because like smartphones.
I feel like because everybody's moving through as a whole. Because if you notice now in the past 10 years, even it doesn't matter what generation you're in, everybody's trying to move into this new age.
Yeah.
Like, so it feels more. It's definitely more accepted now than it was back then. You had people who were sort of like detracting.
Yeah, it seems like the most obvious divide between generations is mostly on like political aspects.
It's a lot, and for me personally, it's a different experience for me because during this time I've actually stayed away from social media for the most part.
Yeah,
I haven't really been present on social media, so there's a lot of things that are happening in the current state of the world that I understand, like I have an understanding of it. I'm not following like everybody else is on their phones are following it. Mm-hmm. I've taken the approach where it's just like, you know what, nobody's outdoors. I'm gonna take the initiative to see what it's like outdoors.
Yeah,
and you go anywhere in the city and you could feel like there is a lot more space, and like any sense of the word, there's a lot more space. And I've come to appreciate that honestly. From going downtown to Manhattan, or even if I'm just sitting out front, you can feel like everybody's sort of reverting to a more natural state. So you're not going to a club now. You're not heading into a bar now.
You could go to AMC if you're stupid.
Are they still open?
It seemed like they were starting to open a bit. Like at least like in fucking because I know there's like some like
How does that even work? It's just alright. Now we have a limit. Like this is how many people could be in there.
Yeah, like I don't fucking know. Like the reason why I've like heard about it is because like they were saying like when the New Mutants just came out, and they were saying like you can see it in theaters. Why?
They change. That's another thing too. If you really like take into account like having technology like we do, this time is definitely making a lot of people generally more dependent on technology, and specifically at home technology.
Yeah,
like you are meant to live your lives at home. If you're not going outside to buy shit for your house to stock up, there's no reason to be outside. And especially in the first couple of months of this pandemic, everything was centered around staying home as much as you can, building your fort, and maintaining it for as long as you can. There's been changes. Like I didn't know AMCs were even open. I figured they were just going to take a hit and eventually just kind of.
They took a pretty big hit. Like,
that goes without saying. They've made changes. The fourth phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe got pushed back to next year. And that's not even a solid, like, oh, it's going to be 2021 because nobody knows when theaters are opening up again. Yeah. And that means that those big blockbuster movies are really going to, they're going to be crucial for the movie theater business specifically. Mulan was supposed to be in the theaters. They have completely switched that to being streamed exclusively on Disney Plus. Yeah. So you think GameStop is done? Fuck. GameStop is on their way out.
I still see like some like open
they're open, but if you go in there, the stores are empty. There's one person manning the ship at a GameStop store, and again, since everybody's home, that lends
what
to
can you do?
You download. That's what they want you to do. You're home. You download shit. You stream shit. Everything is digital, and now especially so. While the outside market is taking a hit, the digital market is taking a spike.
Oh yeah,
like without extrapolating too much, it makes me think of the movie WALL-E.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have already been like on the cusp before like even the pandemic. Like we were already like at that shit.
Yeah,
anyway.
But it was more like it felt more conspiracy leaning than it does now because everyone is actually meant to stay home.
Yeah, I mean, at least we don't have like a fucking like an AI fucking HAL AI.
You don't have lunch in a cup.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you do.
Movies like that are really they have sort of more of a prevalence now. Ready Player One. If you want to go really far down that route,
I guess
where outside just looks like it's completely like abandoned, not abandoned, but like nature's allowed to take its course.
Yeah, like it's mostly just like it's just barren. Like people are mostly just like chilling out. Just
everyone's staying inside to live their lives virtually.
I mean, yeah, we are living Ready Player One. We got fucking VR chat like Tower of whatever shit too.
Tower Unite, dumbass.
It's been different for me since I've for one have taken away from being on social media because I feel like that's what everybody's going to be on now more than ever. So you can sort of feel the difference. It's kind of like before we used to say it like just because it was a thing at the time ago. Every 5 seconds something's being posted. No, quite literally now every 5 seconds you see something. Yeah. So what you see on the internet has been completely diluted. What you really want to see has been diluted by everyone just kind of like, well, I don't really know what else to do, so I'm going to just do this. Here's an update on what happened 20 minutes ago. And you'll have another update in another couple minutes, so hang tight. Reese's Puffs was great.
It's like, yo, I just took my first bunch of
I took my first honey bunch of morning.
It's like, oh fuck, best cereal in the world. I'm gonna try it again tomorrow. See how it goes better.
I took a dump.
And it's just like you see like a fucking like a giant O face, just a fucking like scream face, just like hovering over the toilet with a circle around the shit.
Yeah, man. I don't have it in me to get on social media. I really don't. Like with everything that's been discussed, there are the saving graces. If you do have an ability to watch movies at home, and everyone does, because everybody has streaming, you have that, so you're inclined to watch things you otherwise wouldn't watch. I saw the entirety of Regular Show since this thing is started. Yeah, so I'm just taking the opportunity. Like, well, I mean, Rick and Morty. I haven't seen all the seasons yet, so I'm just gonna marathon that next.
All right,
seen the entirety of Regular Show, and I will say this: that is that is probably my favorite. No, not probably. That is my favorite cartoon from the past, like, what were we, 2020? At least the past decade. It's my favorite cartoon. The shift in the feel of the show as it goes on. You go from, all right, they're in a park, and every episode something ridiculous happens.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's always tied to, like, if it's not tied to space, it's tied to like sorceries and magic and shit like that. People coming from the future.
It's like, listen, like,
time travel, and then they end up in space.
Like they love that space background so much they got to use it for every fucking aspect. It's the same fucking background always in the title.
Insert spoiler alert here,
I guess.
Yeah, right.
For
those of you who haven't watched regular show and you don't know what to watch right now, definitely give that a watch. The title screen, that's where the show ends, basically. Yes.
Okay.
There is an episode. Oh, yeah. There's an episode where they're training Pops to fight his evil Nega clone.
Okay.
And the entire episode of him training is a training montage. They change the training montage music, and it helps him train better. So he goes from like some chill hop version of like
chill hop version.
Yeah, chill hop version of like martial arts training. So like got the board, climbing up the tree with the water buckets.
It's like,
and Rigby pops in Dragon Force. And now it's all those training montages at super speed, and he's going so fast that it puts them in the background, which is the title screen.
Okay.
And they have to catch him when he's at the board to turn the radio off, because that's how fast he's going.
I was gonna say, like, when you're first like putting chill like fucking lo-fi beats to study to, is like,
I've been listening to that too. I go to sleep to that shit.
That shit. Yeah, that shit's comfy, but like, who the fuck does a training montage and fucking that?
It's pretty. No, it goes with what he's doing because it's just more. I don't know how to replicate it.
Okay,
but it is a martial arts training montage.
All right,
like it's akin to like the feel of like the Karate Kid, the first one. Mm-hmm. Honorable mention to when Rigby learns Death Kwon Do and they play You're the Best.
Yeah. Like, it was kind of like the only show, like the only like animated show I've seen where it actually takes like licensed like music. Everyone else is like either just makes their own composition or they make parody versions of like that kind of stuff.
Like we have to try and get around putting this song in, or they get somebody else to do the vocals for it.
Yeah,
like
fucking like JG Quintel was like, fuck, like
that is
let's do that. Let's do this. What the fuck? Fucking everybody's working on the weekends, just blasting while drinking coffee. It's like, all right, let's go with this shit.
A spicy cocktail with cocktail shrimp that makes you trip so hard you hear Mississippi Queen on full blast. Mark Hamill voices Skips.
He did. His fucking voice Skips.
I wanted to look up the cast of the show, and it hit me like a truck. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Mark Hamill, like, he is a fucking genius. He is a fucking beast. Like,
yes, he is.
Like, he starts in like so many like amazing like or at least gets in like so many amazing fucking projects. Regular show, Last Airbender, he was like Fire Lord Ozai.
I'm gonna end up watching this at some point, and I'm gonna go through the experience I had with Skips, where once you learn it's Mark Hamill, you can't unhear Mark Hamill at all.
Have you seen Last Airbender?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I've seen the entire 3-book series.
Awesome. Have you seen the movie?
The movie? Which one? The one that's like the end of
the live action.
No, I did not see the Shyamalan version.
So like, I had. Like,
I'm not calling him Ong.
So
nope. I'm not calling him Ong. I refuse to.
So like, I had like a little phase where I wanted to see like a shit ton. I want to see like a bunch of like horrible movies that people like hate. Like people gave like shit reviews. Like movies that are like legit like type garbage. I have seen Last Airbender. I have seen Fan Force Stick. I have seen Sucker Punch.
I still want to. I saw the tail end of Sucker Punch, And every time I hear somebody mention it, it's always like, yeah, this isn't a good one.
It's legit garbage.
Shit,
it's like
really
hot,
that bad?
it's hot garbage, dude. Like even if like I just don't like Zack Snyder as a director.
They're doing the Snyder Cut for Justice League.
I don't know how the fuck it's gonna make it better. Like,
I guess the idea for him is like if you give him full creative control, and for certain in his mind, his viewpoint, he'll give you a masterpiece. That's sort of the point of view that he's got there.
In that regard, sure. Like it does suck like what happened like when he was like working on Justice League because like
And then Whedon took over, right?
like yeah Whedon took over because like Zack Snyder's like daughter like passed away. Like he had to like take like time off because like he couldn't like work on a fucking film like that. So like that in itself like that just sucks. Like that like sounds horrible to fucking go through for a person. Like but like aside from that like like you see him like go full fledged with like Batman versus Superman.
And that's another example where the theater version he had so many restrictions and limitations. So it's like, all right, we're not going to put everything that you want to put in there. And then the reviews came out like, yeah, this movie isn't that great. It's like, well, watch. Yeah. You watch. I will give you the movie in my image, and you'll all be sorry. And then you got double the movie score. And it's like, you know what? Maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe give him the credit.
Is that so? Is that like the people like the full like the longer version better?
Yeah, like it lends better to the continuity of the movie.
I guess
it doesn't feel like for no pun intended. It doesn't feel like a smash cut.
Okay.
Of a bunch of different moments that they really had to have in the movie,
right?
Just kind of put together. This time around, it feels more. There's a flow. There's definitely a flow to it. There's a build up. It doesn't feel like it's just.
I guess it just kind of goes with like a sort of Marvel Infinite kind of deal. Well, not exactly that, but at least like they came in, they showed it, everyone hated it. It was like, no, it will get better later. It's like it gets a bit better later, but like people are already like sour tasted like by that fucking.
That's kind of how video games go in general now. Honestly, you
No Man's Sky was like that. That was a giant fucking blunder. I watched the Let's Play and fell asleep.
Yeah. It just comes down to like, all right, we have this really what's the word? Ambitious idea. We have an ambitious concept. We believe in it. Mm-hmm. Here's what we want to do. Here's what we have. Here's what we have planned. And the way game development goes now, they have to get people on board. You have to be on board with it because quite literally, it is the fan input. Especially like in a financial perspective, that gives them the ability to carry out what it is they want to carry out.
Yeah.
So you have this ambitious idea, and No Man's Sky is a really good example because when I first saw it, I was like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The limitation that comes with what you can actually produce, be it from lack of funds or just either lack of timing, lack of funds, lack of tech, where we can actually like make it happen on the programming aspect. It takes a nosedive, and when the quality of the game is affected, the quality of the game is affected. Yeah. That's just about it.
And even with like seasoned developers, like when you think of shit like fucking, when you think of what the fuck was that stupid fucking game? My Number 9. Like even with like a seasoned developer, like people were giving it so much praise, they got like a shit ton of money. Like even.
Well, that's a different example. That's like. You take everything that you have, you take your resources, and you just flush them down the toilet. Like, you get too confident in what you have, and then...
Yeah.
And the actual carrying out of developing the game, you start to feel it. Like, oh, it's not going to be what we want it to.
Yeah.
Then you have to go back to the public eye and go, all right, well, I know you want this.
But, like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Like, that was their fucking approach, kind of. It was like... It's like,
like we know you're going to love this game, just take the game. And it's like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Especially when you have people investing in it. And they're investing in it for you to give them what it is that they're looking for. And when it comes to video games, because you have to showcase it first, you have to give them what they're asking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
and what they're asking for is what you're projecting. Mm-hmm. So, and that's been happening a lot in recent years. Yeah. Fallout 76 took a dip for that same reason.
Fuck. That was...
I didn't know what Fallout 76 was going to be until months before it came out.
No one did.
No one did. And they were like, all right, so we're gonna focus entirely on online play. We're not gonna have any NPCs. And then it did poorly for a year. And it's all right, we're gonna bring the NPCs back. We understand what we did wrong. We're bringing the NPCs back.
You know my favorite thing about that giant fiasco
Go ahead.
Aside from the video of a dude like fucking trashing the GameStop because he couldn't return a copy, there was so, like someone in a game like found like an exploit where they just like started like multiplying a whole bunch of like bomb weapons,
The
like
chest?
nuclear bombs, and just one day just ignited all of them at once, and it crashed the fucking servers.
It actually bombed the server.
It was the funniest fucking thing ever.
If one single player online can bomb the entirety of a game named Fallout, you did not do a good job. You did not do a good job. I should not be able to break all of Fallout 76 by myself. That game did not sell well. It got to a point where there were like copies of the game, or to the point where they had to be like thrown out because they were just not like they got.
It's like ET bad.
They got pennied out, bro. Well, not ET back because that was a different time all of its own.
That's true, yeah.
But they got pennied out. And there were system bundles with Fallout 76
that
had to be sold at like half price just to get them out of inventory.
It was so fucking sad.
And then you're getting the bundle for the system and not the game.
Yeah.
Like there's no resale value.
It's like you're getting
where you're gonna go. Everyone has it.
You're better off with stale gum than that game. With bundled with the cards.
Like the ones that come with like the baseball cards.
It's like the one it's like the old ass like gumballs. You just like have to like you have to turn your fucking quarter in.
Dude,
you're better with that than that game bundled with your console, bro.
I've actually had stale gum before, and it was one of the ones that comes with the baseball cards. Mm-hmm. And I tried to eat the gum, and in my mouth it turned to dust. I'm like, I don't think this is right. You're not supposed to swallow gum at all. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't swallow it in this state.
Like you start blowing out like Ashy Larry.
Mossy son, what? Fuck, man. But yeah, I'll give Snyder his credit. Snyder, even if every single outing of his wasn't like great, especially when it comes to recent memory, you got to give him his credit. You got to give him his credit because he wanted to do Batman v Supes in a way where, all right, this is how it is in my image, and as a whole, everyone enjoyed it a lot more. So with the Justice League cut, it's actually not it's not going to be a theater thing. It's going to be a 4-part special.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's going to give me an opportunity to watch Justice League in a way that I haven't.
Hearing that would be pretty interesting. I still don't think I still don't know like how much like it would be like, because I didn't see the movie.
Well, I haven't either.
I haven't heard.
I've seen the Aquaman bits, and I'm like, all right, Jason Momoa is pretty cool. I'll take this.
Just watch Aquaman.
Just watch Aquaman.
Like legit, like I'm glad at least with DC they took a better turn after failing to really make a fucking universe because they rushed that shit so hard. Like, it was so bad.
They're definitely taking a different turn on that now, and I have to believe that it's meant to. Be a response to Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
because one thing Marvel does that I really like is they'll also give exposure to characters that aren't as popular.
Yeah, like
characters that are popular specific from the comics.
I would not.
And they create a continuity, right? Exactly. They'll create a continuity where they can introduce other characters, and as they expand into like going into space, you have a lot more characters that you can use.
They prepare so much shit. Like just really have like all this shit like woven. So like how it is like all the way to like through Endgame, like
the entirety.
It was,
and you can get the box set too with
beautiful. Like I legit like just like spent like a whole month like. Was it last year? It was last year.
Where Endgame came out. Yeah, it was last year, man.
What a time before we knew.
Yeah.
But like a month before I saw the movie, I just went and like watched like every single like Marvel movie that came out.
Building up to that. That's actually really smart.
So like. Getting to all of that, I legit fucking cried. Like I was so ecstatic. I was ecstatic as the fucking like those loud ass fucking nerds. Like I was just as happy just like seeing all this shit like come together in one fell swoop.
You have people that sort of like like you have like Scorsese and stuff that like they'll have like their heavy criticism of Marvel movies. So they're not filmed. It's like If you can get an entire audience and demographic to follow characters all the way through in such a way where you can develop those characters,
I mean,
that is something that should be praised.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think he even realized. Like, I think he did like say like a bit. I could be wrong. I could be like talking on my ass, but I know like hearing it from him, like, it's not really as surprising because he's never really been like a huge fan of like popcorn movies. So it's not like a big like betrayal or whatever.
If anybody
like,
can make those comments, it's Scorsese.
And like
how many times do you look at the Scorsese movie and go, watch the Scorsese movie and go, I haven't enjoyed it, especially if you got De Niro in it.
Yeah, it's like really like it's not really denounced like the director. Like it's really
they're
just,
not
like,
meant to be
his,
comparable. They're not comparable experiences.
Yeah.
You're not following RDJ as Iron Man to
like,
the point where
like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly, to the point where RDJ is Tony Stark.
Yeah,
it's a different experience entirely. It's not just like one particular movie. It's the entirety of those movies.
Yeah,
as a single continuity, which is world building at probably some of its finest.
Yeah.
And when you take something like Marvel, where everybody's familiar with them, even if you're not familiar with the comics as much as you would be with the characters specifically, there's an experience there, especially if you're willing to follow it all the way through, going from Iron Man 1 onward.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't kind of dumb like kind of hearing about like for people who aren't really like fans of like the Marvel films, like I'll give it this way, like I don't like every like Marvel like movie that came out. Like I've watched.
There are some ones that are comparatively underwhelming.
Oh yeah, like I fucking like. I didn't like Ant-Man that much. Like,
you didn't like Ant-Man?
I didn't like the Ant-Man movies. At least mostly like with the comparison, like just watching all the movies. Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp like felt like nothing because it didn't like because it doesn't like feel like I don't really feel like anything compared to like how the hell the story is going. It's just like little thing right there. It's like I could just skip those movies and be done. I
love that they can. Well, I'll take the stance where when you take a character like Ant-Man, where you see him, it's like he doesn't really have a lot of like. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have importance, but like the Ant-Man himself, you don't really think like, oh yeah, Ant-Man before the movies. Yeah. But what's good about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is because they realize that the majority of the audience isn't really that familiar with Ant-Man. Yeah. You get the opportunity to sort of like, you get to exercise creative freedom. This is how I want him to feel as a person. This is how I want Lang to feel as a person. Mm-hmm. And because you can do that, you can sort of, you get the opportunity to give him a personality.
Yeah.
A personality that is attractive. Where it's like, I actually like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, and I can enjoy it because it was a good movie. You take Drax, for example, in Guardians.
God.
Drax is a very straightforward character in the comics.
Yeah.
You know, he's going after Thanos because of what he did to his people. Mm-hmm. You put Batista in there, and you let Batista like sort of play as himself as that character, and now that character feels a lot more dynamic, and you actually like, I love Drax.
Oh yeah.
So that's one way where you can kind of like utilize movies in a way that you wouldn't be able to when you're following source material. Mm. It gives you an opportunity to add more to that character, and that makes them better. I feel, in my opinion. Like you give Doctor Strange, someone who's typically serious, a little bit more of
he's a stucky bitch. He's just like
you give him more of a smarmy disposition.
He's like a more.
I wouldn't say he's snarky in the comics. He's very much like, all right, this is what I'm here for. This is what I do. I am the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right. Yeah.
I have my proficiencies. You're coming to me. Things are going to get done.
I got the most interesting thing, Benedict Cumberbatch's like demeanor, like how it like acts and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
perfect.
It was pretty cool. Just like seeing like that shit butting heads with like the snarky attitude like Tony Stark, like just these two fucks, like they just don't like each other at all. They don't want to they fucking see their goatees and said fuck you.
Don't embarrass me in front of the wizard.
Don't.
Like just an instinctive competition. Honestly, Thor's another example of that. Being able being able to expand on a character in a way that hasn't been expanded on previously, make him more human. And he's not human, but you can relate to him like one.
Yeah, they're
like the first two Thor movies are they're very much like, this is Thor. So unless you're like,
I hated those movies.
The first two people aren't really fans of. The third one is great. Ragnarok is awesome.
Like, it's mostly like
Make Thor a bro and you fix it.
That's all you have to do. Just make him a bro. But like, all you have is just the spoiled little shit. It would whatever, because like you have like Tony Stark who's like a spoiled little shit, and then like something fucked up happens to him, and then he becomes like Iron Man. But like
Character development.
it was like character development. But the thing with Thor, I don't know, it's just kind of boring. Like the way like introduced him was like all like the all powerful beings, like had like all these friends. I love how in Thor Ragnarok they just came in and killed all those friend characters that no one gave a shit about. It was so fucking
and
funny.
they are important to Thor's universe or Thor's section of the universe.
Yeah,
they are important. So, but if you're watching as someone who isn't familiar with the comics, you're learning through the movies.
Yeah. So
learning through the movies, it's a different experience because it's like, all right, well, this is why they're important. Yeah. And with Thor, it was kind of like you have to go in knowing who Thor is and what he's really about and Marvel. And if you're not really watching it in that way, you don't really enjoy it the same.
Yeah.
But Ragnarok did a thing where it was like, all right, well, let's make him a bro.
It's like,
Banner's been on another planet, gladiator fighting.
They gave a little taste of Planet Hulk.
Yeah, and Hulk is a bro.
Yeah,
and Loki and Thor are now for real bros.
Yeah, they were just. It's like who knew you get the fucking the director of what they do in the shadows to make.
Yeah, bring that to light on screen.
Just make Thor just be like a little dumbass. Just be more of a dumbass than like ever, and it's great.
That's honestly a good, and that's another good example of character development too, where you can tell that like Thor naturally is in the place that he's in because he's the son of Odin.
Yeah.
So everything feels kind of handed to him. And one thing that Ragnarok did really well is they took that sense of status away from him.
Yeah.
And Thor has to learn how to come into his own in a way he's never had to.
I guess it really
in the face of his badass,
it really is
warmongering sister.
Yeah, like it really is just a better version of the first movie. That's really what it is.
It's what they wanted. If I feel watching Ragnarok is what they wanted to do with the first two movies, done in the way that they felt that I feel they're more confident with. They're like, this is what we wanted, and you can kind of feel that with every sector of the MCU. Every character every character learns to grow.
Yeah,
every character gets their development. Hulk, for example, who doesn't have a standalone movie in the MCU. All of his appearances.
Only one.
No, I don't think it counts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Doesn't count. It's before
that's
that.
Right. Norrin, you little dumb shit.
Yeah.
At least Ruffalo's a little bit better.
Yeah, Ruffalo does a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you take the example of Hulk, and Hulk is a staple.
Yeah.
And you have him show up as not a cameo, but he's a part of the other movies.
It's weird because I don't know. Yeah, they're really
and even with him, you see that all right, he's growing.
Yeah,
he's learning things for himself. He has to step away for a while.
Yeah,
he steps away twice. He steps away, and Black Widow finds him.
Yeah,
I forget where exactly.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then he steps away and he goes to Planet Hulk.
He goes to fucking Planet Hulk, and then after the events of Infinity War, he just steps out again. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be
Hulk all the time, and I'm so relaxed as the Hulk that I'm smaller.
It's like I gotta find a way to at least combine both the brains and bronze, while also not have to deal with shit with Universal because they own the Hulk movies.
Yeah, just give me the fucking X-Men so we can have Galactus show up right.
They are gonna try to sprinkle shit like some X-Men stuff.
They're gonna, in order to bring in Galactus, you need the Fantastic Four and you need the X-Men.
Oh,
you need the Fantastic Four because you're gonna have to bring up the Ultimate Nullifier at some point. And if you bring in the Fantastic Four, that means you bring in Doom. Now, the first two outings for Fantastic Four, well, three if you count the second Fantastic Four movie, not that great.
It was doo-doo.
Yeah,
oh
it
god,
when that came out, we were younger, so you're like, I know you guys, the Fantastic Four. Yeah,
it's the first two, they're pretty good. They're stupid goofy.
All the other ones it's kind of charming. It doesn't hold up as well as it did when you first watched it. But it is, specifically for the Thing, for Ben Grimm, I like Ben Grimm's character.
At least I didn't find him as joyless and as a Fan Four stick. That shit was just oh god.
You said that earlier, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" And now I realized
You know Fan Four Stick? Yeah,
no, I know what it is now.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
Fucking
fucking laser light show Doom.
It was so
lava lamp Doom.
Lava lamp ass Doom. It was the saddest. It's the saddest movie I've ever fucking seen. It's so fucking mediocre. Did you see fucking Miles Tanner in fucking high school? It's like a fucking 30-year-old bunch of little kids. He's like, oh, this is my school project,
and I would have gotten away with it
if
too.
it weren't for you meddling fuck. It's so fucked. Because they're absolutely important to the Marvel kind in general. They were super important. But they just fucked up the mark. The first one, it was kind of rough because it was all the superhero movies early 2000s was shot in the dark.
Yeah,
they didn't know what to do.
I mean, yeah, because it was their first outing. I think from my personal viewpoint, when the first Spider-Man came out. Wow, when the first Spider-Man made its way into theaters.
Yeah,
you're like, all right, this movie's awesome.
Yeah,
you get the classic story. Parker gets bit by the spider. He learns his powers.
Even when this cheesiness, it fits with the thing. It's not just out of place or
I can still watch the first Spider-Man movie and go, this movie's awesome. I've always had a weird relationship with Spider-Man 2 where it's just I'm not as interested in this one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the minority in this. I can't watch the second one as well as I can watch the third one, and I know the third one isn't as good as the second one. And I can still kind of watch it. I can still watch it.
Yeah. I don't know, it's interesting too, because
so it kind of feels alright, we can do it with Spider-Man, we can do it with somebody else. Yeah. Another good example that I'd be remiss in leaving out is the X-Men movies.
I've never seen them.
The first two, great. People have a lot of problems with, what was it called? The third one.
Just X-Men 3? Last Stand.
Stand, yeah, exactly. That one was kind of and I feel like with X3 and Spider-Man 3 have the same sort of issue.
Really?
Where they try to put too much into one movie.
Right.
And you can feel like there was a sort of naturally there is a time constraint because you have to run a certain runtime.
Yeah.
They try to do too much at once. Mm-hmm. So there is the continuity sort of takes a hit for that.
Right.
Because for Spider-Man, for example, you're introducing 3 different villains. So you have 3 different stories going on at once.
Yeah.
And they're not really done with the level of care that you would want them to want it to be done.
Yeah, part of it was also just producers Bungie and
yeah,
it was the only reason why Venom was there.
I mean, when I was a kid and I heard Venom's gonna be on, it was just fun.
I was pretty excited, but when you fucking see dipshit Topher Grace,
when it's Eric Foreman as Venom,
ever fucking I forgot what the.
And
was he
all these considered
dumbass?
Yeah, Slim Venom,
Slim Venom,
Slim Venom,
Slim Jim Venom.
Slim Jim Venom is great. Slim Jim Venom. As a kid, I was he's supposed to be yeah, and huge and scary.
He was oh yes.
Eddie Brock was essentially Eddie Brock. It wasn't they didn't do a good job with Eddie Brock's character. It's just the way the story comes together with everything else. It's an afterthought, even though he's the major villain.
Yeah,
because Goblin's also the major villain, but it's Harry as the Goblin, and Harry's supposed to be the good guy. Harry as the Goblin is supposed to be the good guy.
The entire movie, or just only?
No. In Spider-Man 3, he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
in Spider-Man 3, he takes after the thing that made Norman go nuts.
Yeah, he took it he wanted to fuck up Peter, and then just had his memory
He wanted
loss.
to fuck up Peter's life.
He just. Yeah, he did. God,
he went after MJ.
My favorite thing was in the cafe.
Yes,
he was waking up Peter. Oh no, not the fucking
strawberries. And then they just fight. They get into a fist fight.
He eats his pie. He's oh, so good. He winks at Peter through the window. A bus came, rushes by, and he disappears.
Yeah, he's I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
And Peter's what?
It feels go ahead.
No, I definitely enjoy the third movie. Obviously, obviously in a different light versus the other ones. But
it's still so many
there's so many moments that are just amazing.
That's what I'm saying. It's still more eventful. I can still watch it. The infamous scene where Tobey Maguire is walking through the streets of New York, shooting finger guns at everyone.
Yeah, like I remember I was so confused. I remember like as a kid, I watched it, I was like, wait, what? Like this is so lame. Like as a kid, I was like, this is kind of lame. And then when
the arm rolling and the hip swivels.
Yeah, I'm glad they even touched that.
I just thought it was hilarious.
I'm glad they even touched
It's
on that
still
in
funny.
Spider-Verse.
What's up?
In
They touched on it.
Spider-Verse.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
touched
did.
on Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse did a really good job. I want to see more. I want to see more Marvel animated movies go like that.
It will be so good. I was so happy to fucking like show that to you for the first time. Like you were fucking seeing your eyes like glare up, like seeing everything that goes on. You crying like a bitch, like seeing like everything wove together. Perfect. It was beautiful, and I've already seen like fucking like 7 times before I showed you.
They did a really good job with that movie, man.
It's like legit like top tier, one of my favorite movies ever.
It's
favorite movies
so
of all fucking time.
And it touches on one of my favorite aspects of the Marvel universe because I love Spider-Man so much.
Yeah,
so you get to see all the different versions of Spider-Man. The next thing I wanted to touch on, I don't know if they would ever do it, was like touch into like the symbiote aspect because there are other symbiotes,
right?
I want them to do that. Venom gave a tease of that too, the Venom movie.
Yeah, like people were like, it seemed like people were kind of pissed like around the end. Like it was like, oh, like fucking Woody Harrelson like comes in. It's gonna be like what the fuck was his name? Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like so you got like beefy bottom Tom Hardy like just like
bottom heavy never skips leg day Tom Hardy. He throws on he throws off the Bane mask to take on the Venom symbiote.
I
think he did a good job. I like this version of Eddie Brock better than any other version of Eddie Brock because for me personally, as a Marvel fan, I love Venom. Do not like Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is a whiny shit. He's like from the first minute he's just jealous of Peter and what Peter's able to do in his life, and the symbiote takes over that. So when it comes to the Venom symbiote, it's neutral.
It does kind of like neutral.
The Venom symbiote is neutral. The Carnage symbiote is not neutral. The Carnage symbiote is chaotic.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was like because I knew like for I don't really read much of the comics at all, but like, at least I've heard a bit like some of the things that like Venom really wanted, like the symbiote really wanted most was Spider-Man. Like he wanted like
after it got in touch with Peter.
Yeah, after it got in touch with Peter, like the kind of like strength, like kind of shit that like that Spider-Man like exemplifies, like
because it
Venom
worked with
really
Peter.
wanted that
Because it is still a parasite, but it works differently from the parasites that we're used to.
Yeah.
With the Venom symbiote, it's neutral. It takes on the aspects of its host. So that's why after it leaves Peter, Venom can still do things that Spider-Man can do.
Yeah.
But when it takes on Eddie Brock's character, who he is as a person, is a lot less admirable, for lack of a better term. He's this whiny, jealous fuck. So the Venom symbiote takes on that and it's like, well, we're gonna go after Peter too.
I mean, that's why I say full bottom Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
like fucking I'm friends with a fucking like a shit ton of like gay artists.
Right.
They like it's not emphasized enough how much they want to fuck like bottom heavy Tom Hardy. Like fucking like they really. I haven't seen them, but from a little bit I've seen, they really did seem like Venom was the biggest dom to fucking Eddie Brock.
Well, it's because that version of Eddie Brock is he was homeless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's not really it's not the same Eddie Brock. He's a down on he's a not a crestfallen type. He's down on his luck.
Right.
So the Venom symbiote gives him an opportunity that he's never had. Mm-hmm. So whereas Venom typically is more the villain, you see Venom more as an anti-hero, leaning towards a hero.
Yeah, it seems weird. Like,
and that Venom to me is way cooler. That version of Eddie Brock is way more acceptable to me because I like that Eddie Brock more than I like the Eddie Brock in the comics.
Right. Okay.
But like I was saying, the symbiote's neutral. So let's say I take on the Venom symbiote, it's gonna be Venom, like if Venom was me. And since I'm not a bad guy, Venom, the symbiote's not going to want to do bad guy shit.
This would be like a Big Lebowski.
It's exactly.
Bigger Lebowski.
That is exactly what I would be as
You're going to be bigger Lebowski.
I'm the bigger Lebowski. Exactly.
Just be Dudum.
The Lebowski, man.
The Lebowski. Yeah.
Lebowski.
Like
It is. It's perfect, actually.
Like I don't know. Like I don't know how like much. Like I like. It's fun because like I've never seen Venom at all. Like
Oh, okay.
the only thing I've seen was just like the small clip like during the like in where he's like in a bodega where his lady was about to be robbed, and he just gave this like really stupid like line where it's just like I'm going to eat your arms and eat your legs, and you're gonna like float away like a turd in the wind.
Like a turd in the wind.
And he just chop him away. And then when he turns back, he's like,
Venom was good. I like it. Not a lot of people like it. When he's pressing the elevator, and he's like, go through the window, and he still has him in the elevator, and then the Venom symbiote goes, pussy. Because the symbiote itself is meant to boost your confidence.
Right.
Like, look at what you can do with me. Let's go do some shit.
Okay.
But it still has to work with the host. So it really what Venom is just a really sweet confidence booster.
I really gotta check it out.
That's why you got like when Flash Thompson becomes a good guy and he works with the symbiote, he becomes Agent Venom. Or you have Anti-Venom, for example, where Anti-Venom is straight up a good guy. He's a hero.
I'm brother here, not fucking Flash Thompson.
Yeah, football player Flash Thompson.
Yeah, like fucking
the one against the lunch tray flung at him.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to fight me either, Flash Thompson.
Yeah, that same Flash Thompson, he becomes a good guy with the Venom symbiote, and he becomes Agent Venom. And with Anti-Venom, he's straight up a hero.
Sure.
So yeah, and that's why I like. That's one thing. As I grew older, I'm like, oh, I really like Venom because he's not a villain.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. It's just when he's with Eddie Brock specifically that he's a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Card symbiote is not like that. Card symbiote is like I want to see some carnage.
It's always like with carnage, like it's always just like destructive, like in every single way. Fucking like I remember like people were saying like
the carnage symbiote is a lot more autonomous. So it kind of just needs it.
Oh, like
it's really weird. It kind of needs the body. It needs someone that wants to work with it, but once it has it, it's just working with the body.
It's a lot more parasitic.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fucked. And Woody Harrelson's gonna be it.
Yeah. Tallahassee, man.
Fucking Tallahassee, fucking like.
Give me Tallahassee with the Venom symbiote, and give me another Zombieland movie.
God. Yeah, have you seen Zombieland 2?
Double Tap. I have seen Double Tap. I've seen Double Tap.
How do you feel about it?
I double tap.
What does that mean?
Watched it twice.
Oh.
I actually like Double Tap a lot.
I don't know. I feel kind of off with it. Like,
really?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's something about it. I just don't really feel it's like it just feels. It's like it's fine. It's like it's whatever.
It makes sense.
I hate, like
the first Zombieland is like we're trying to figure out what we do in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
The second Zombieland is now we know what to do.
Yeah,
we're just trying to figure out what the
go.
next thing is to do.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more lax.
Yeah.
They already know how to. They already know how to handle the zombies, and there's less zombies, and the zombies that are left, they have a better understanding of, so they know how to deal with them.
Yeah. I guess like they really did try like what it could with like all the
Kill the century, man.
What?
Kill the century. Tallahassee got it.
Oh yeah.
They lead them off the
yeah, lead them off the fucking thing.
The Seattle Tower.
The fucking Homer.
The
Homer zombie.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was like they're bringing like all like the different types of zombies.
Homer!
I was like all the other like fucking types of zombies. You see like it makes sense like they were like of course they were like categorized it later on. You just see like a fucking Simpsons ass font being like fucking played out. You see this fat little shit just then right ahead.
Yeah.
But not even trying.
The easy picking zombie.
Yeah.
Your standard fare target practice is the Homer zombie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you just, like, there was something about like, the first, like, Zombieland, like, I do, like, enjoy. Like, I do enjoy a whole lot. It feels like a fairly solid movie. Like, coming in a double tap, like I can kind of, I can get, like, why, like, it will feel like why it had to be like that, because, like, it took so long just to really get production going. Like, people were, like, they were, like, writing that shit for a long time when, like, the kid actor, like, becomes an adult. I was like, well, I guess I don't know what to do. I guess we'll just make it just that. I guess we'll just make it where, like, she tries to be, like, full adult, and she moves in with some, like, hippie.
She moves in with Beck from Victorious.
Fucking Beck from Victorious. I did not like that guy. I hated him. He was so lame.
But he's supposed to be a lame ass.
Yeah, it was. Like,
he's a dweeb. He's a dweeb that plays songs that everyone knows and goes, "Oh yeah, I wrote this one."
The pretentious shit is like.
But that's what it's supposed to be. Like, now that everybody knows how to deal with the zombie apocalypse, the feel isn't as strenuous.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of knows how to handle it. So you have guys like Beck.
Yeah.
Like Beck running around and they're fine. To the point where you have an entire community of people that just melt down all their firearms. Mm. I will keep my handgun, thank you very much.
Alright.
I will keep my hunting rifle.
You know what I hate?
Go ahead.
I just hate, like, vomit in movies.
I thought you were just going to say you hate vomiting, and I'm like, well alright, man, it does happen.
I'm such a like sympathetic vomiter. Although it's like if I see vomit, I legit get like seriously ill. That was like part of the reason why like I started like feeling like a little less
like
about,
you
like,
feel it on yourself,
yeah, like feeling less about Zombieland 2 because they fucking like acted like some of my fears. Is like you have like someone like just up chucking in the car, like oh fuck,
it's
no,
like,
it's
oh,
gross. Like
it's gonna
everyone
stink.
Like look,
it's gonna smell.
Sting is like all that kind of shit. It's so I fucking hate that shit. I felt that shit with fucking like the worst the worst case was fucking like Kick-Ass 2. I hated the scene with the sick stick. Have you seen Kick-Ass 2?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
I fucking hate that scene so fucking much. Like it's just you know what a sick stick is?
Just remind me because it's been a while.
Because it was like Hickory like gets into high school. She meets some friends. There's like popular girls.
Okay, go on.
And as a taker, like a take of like you know what, let me level with you. I don't fuck with me. She gets a stick that will like it makes people immediately vomit.
It's
and
her dad's gadget.
Horrible diarrhea. And she uses
it to fuck with the preppy girls.
Yeah, it's like really just have like all three and just like fucking puke all over each other. And I was revolted. I could not like sit down. I was like, oh.
That's akin to the feeling when you see someone get kicked in the nuts, and then you feel it in your nuts, and you're like
thinking of
and then your voice goes up an octave.
Like even thinking of it now, it makes it. I feel like really queasy. Like they had like legit full shot, just like her vomiting and her just shitting herself. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, that's a different kind of graphic that doesn't really get talked about as much.
I hate that.
Actually.
I legit hate that so much. Like I hate that so much in fucking movies. Like
go ahead.
But I just fucking hate it. that's part of the reason why I've like skewed away like from like Zombieland 2 because like at least like when the first one like it didn't like do that shit. It just like you just had it there. Like they just like turned the zombies like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Hold on one second. Yeah, I enjoy Zombieland 2. On such a Big Lebowski, Bro Thor. Yeah, man. Infinity Warriors did a really good job of tying everything together to the point where I don't really know where the next phase is going. Well, I mean, we do because we got a projection. We have. I think it's about 4 or 5 movies, and the rest are TV series.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that. Like
the Black Widow movie should have came out before Endgame.
You think so?
Yes, because all right. Spoiler alert! You should have watched it a year ago.
You guys.
Black Widow gives her life.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
To get everybody back at the soul, to get the Soul Stone to help get everybody back.
I guess it doesn't make sense.
You take away from that moment. If you would have given everybody the what happened in Budapest story before Endgame, then the scene where they're basically fighting each other, Clint and Natasha, to be the one that does the big sacrifice.
It's funny too because
it would have had much more feeling behind it.
Yeah, like it's funny because like it was supposed to be like that movie was meant to be like a fucking goodbye with like from like some of the main like cast, like some of the main Avengers, like fucking like
the entirety of the main Avengers.
Like
honestly,
like Iron Man dead, fucking Captain America just like fucking chilling out.
Captain America goes back in time to live his life for
just
real.
Live his life and just chills
and
out.
Then you give Falcon the shield.
It's like just like the
you give your best bro for real, Anthony Mackie, the shield, and then he's gonna have his own series.
Yeah, and it's like you have like that fucking like Thor is like okay, I'll just even though it's not like the end for me, like it definitely has like a sort of end. Well, in Endgame, I guess. Like at least for some like friends, it was about end goodbye. Baseline. But like some people die, some people like retire. Like Black Widow dies, and then later you just see like her like there. So it's just kind of weird.
What do you mean?
Like in the new Black Widow movie.
That's what I'm saying. It needed to happen. I feel personally should have happened before Endgame.
It would have been weird.
It would have given that much more of a like you said, like how they did Captain Marvel before Endgame as well.
Yeah,
It gives you an idea of who Carol Danvers is.
It definitely was a smart move to try to like do that, at least introduce that, because like that because she was like there really like from the beginning and the end of the end game. Like she was just like she wasn't like there that often.
No, her Brie Larson's roles are really just like cameos.
Yeah, which it would make sense at least like from a bit of story, but sort of.
Well, keep in mind though, when it comes to Endgame, there's a large portion of the movie where Thanos isn't really around. He's getting the stones.
Yeah,
it's Endgame is them going back in time to get the stones at around the same time that Thanos is. So the fight that happens at the end of Infinity War is way later. The timeline is changed because they go back and the fight happens around the time that Thanos starts gathering the stones, around the time of the Guardians movies. So that's why you have at the end of Endgame, Gamora doesn't have that relationship with Star-Lord because that never happened.
Yeah.
Everything happened beforehand.
People were really fucking wanting that. Like people really wanted that relationship between Star-Lord and Gamora. Yeah. It's like I kind of respect it. Like when they feel like they were gonna like try to push it, they still feel like now's not the time. Like we do need we still have a bunch of shit to fucking go there before we try to be lovey-dovey, you know?
Well, that's what happens is that they go back.
Yeah.
Because remember, the first time around, Gamora is the one that gets sacrificed for the Soul Stone.
Yeah, like now.
So they go back in time. When they go back in time, she doesn't know.
Like she remains, but she doesn't like know.
She doesn't know Quinn.
Yeah.
So the timeline goes where it starts 5 years after the events of Infinity War. You're going years in the past, and now by the time so now it's a new series of things that happen.
Yeah.
You have Spider-Man as a kid, and he's growing up. So now you have him to sort of, if they can get the licensing thing settled, Spider-Man can play more of a role.
It seemed like they haven't like reached like a settlement. Like I knew it wasn't even like that long after. It was like a few weeks.
Well, the thing is, that happened before they released the projection of Phase 4. So there's not really a place for Spider-Man in those movies if they don't have an idea what they want to do with Spider-Man next.
I guess it's true. But even then, I feel like you
fingers crossed he shows up in Multiverse of Madness. Because of all the things there, that's the one I want to see the most.
That would be insane. And yeah, fucking Sam Raimi's gonna be directing that shit.
You got Sam Raimi,
like
who's on the project. You have Shuma up as the main villain, so you get to have the Chaos Dimension shown in some way. And it's supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah. Like
I'm really excited.
That sounds kind of sick. It sounds kind of cool. Because at least I hope they would do a good job. Because the last time they fucking tried to do a horror movie superhero, which was New Mutants, it was mediocre. And before that was like Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a horror, but like they try to make it where it's like
because they're building on because Jean Grey is a little bit younger this time around, and they're building off the fact that she can't control the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah. and I do love Jean Grey, because I love the Phoenix.
Sure.
Yeah. Just, I found a loophole.
What?
If they do decide to bring in, if they can finally bring X-Men and Fantastic Four into the cinematic universe.
What?
Bring back Chris Evans as Human Torch.
That would be cool.
And then you have a moment later on down the line where Chris Evans Captain America and Chris Evans Human Torch are on the same screen. Like, so you have two CGI buff Chris Evans.
If he wasn't as tired of being in the MCU, that would have been pretty interesting.
It'd be pretty cool, man. Yeah. But yeah, if you're gonna take a step up from Thanos, that means the next logical step forward is Galactus. You get Galactus in there. You got to bring in the Ultimate Nullifier. You bring in the Ultimate Nullifier. You bring in Reed Richards. You bring in Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom can also be a major villain for that phase. You have a lot to work with. You can bring in the X-Men too. You got a lot to go off of. Right. And if you're going with Galactus, you're going to need everybody. And you can bring in some other guys from going into like the deep space of Marvel Universe. You have like your Sentries and stuff like that. Even though Sentries like top tier when it comes to like power.
It's insane. Like. I legit wasn't expecting this to be like a full Marvel talk, but after Endgame came out, I legit don't know how the hell they're really gonna and how they're gonna like tackle that, because like legit the whole entire like that whole saga was like 23 movies, 23, 24 within a span of like 10 years. Like they built that shit up.
It was a decade-long project.
It had its own major marks, like all arcs with like throughout all these movies into like one gigantic like three act arc whatever, and
they'd have to set it up a different way.
Yeah, it's like
you got the right pieces because all right, so it's very clear that the Avengers for the most part are no more. You're gonna see Shield because you've got Fury still. You have Parker working with Shield. They just introduced the sword. If you've seen Far From Home,
the sword.
That's the space station.
Oh, you mean from Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because you find out in spoilers again at the end of Far From Home.
You've probably seen it. You've already seen all of Marvel. Fuck you.
Please watch. Please catch up with the MCU if you haven't already. Disney Plus $7.99 a month. They're not sponsoring us.
Fucking. Dude,
we'll give you that plug.
Endgame was the highest grossing movie. Became the highest grossing movie of all time. Everyone has seen Endgame, so like.
Well, I'm talking about Far From Home,
it's true.
Yeah.
So like, everyone
get on that.
Anybody who
if you don't love Spider-Man, love Spider-Man and watch Far From Home.
Yeah, I like Far From Home.
It's a good movie.
Like that fucking shit with like I forgot what was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mysterio.
Yeah, like Jake Gyllenhaal was there, like being like a being a projectionist,
special effects.
Like I really
that is like
really
the most
like
apropos villain to have in a movie setting.
That was the
guy who's a special effects artist,
right? Like that's the coolest like way to tackle that shit. And like the fucking scene where he really is just like lost in a giant projection in a full like void. Like I get a major hard on when it's just like you see like characters like stuck in the void. They are lost. I love that shit in Get Out, and I love that shit in Far From Home. Like, it's like just seeing them alone, they really don't know what the fuck to do. Just seeing everything just come around,
you get
just
an
fucking
actual
with them.
introspective on there.
Like, it is amazing. I love, like, visually, like, at least like from all this shit that goes on, I fucking love Far From Home from that.
Where do you go next, man?
It's like, yeah, it's like where do you like
they have pieces to work with.
It's like, I like at this point, like after like getting like so invested, like it's like I gotta ease up, man. It's like I can't continue on anymore. Like the ending's there. It's like watching all of Breaking Bad and like seeing there's like, oh, I guess there's like some adventures with like Walter Jr. or some shit. It's like
they have to put it together.
Yeah,
because you have pieces there. You can do the Marvel Knights, for example, because Strange is there and Spidey's there.
Yeah.
So if I get what I would want, the next couple of movies, as far as like going with the continuity, like they did with the first 15 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you'll have more New York centric movies, and you'll have more movies centered on outer space.
Yeah.
Because at some point, what's going to tie it all together is that you have a major villain.
Mm-hmm.
So Thanos ends up being the major villain of the first chunk of
throughout the first like fucking like saga.
Yeah. So yeah, like we got Thanos in there. The next step up for me would be Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only logical next step, in my opinion. But in order for that to happen, they have to introduce Fantastic Four and they have to introduce the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think Origins wasn't all that good. Origins wasn't great.
Origins?
X-Men Origins.
Oh, I'm saying
it. It's like regarded as like the least.
Wait, is it just like X-Men Origins, or is it X-Men Origins Wolverine?
That one.
Okay, that.
The very same. I do not care, Hugh Jackman. I love you.
It's like
I love you no matter what.
I heard it was complete dog shit. Yeah.
It wasn't that great.
How they fucked with Deadpool, like when that happened.
Sewing his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. Don't do that to him.
Like it was.
Don't do that to Ryan Reynolds.
It was interesting. That like how they were like working out through that. How they were just making jokes about it like in the end of Deadpool too. Like you see him like you see like Deadpool just fucking shooting the ugly Ryan Reynolds with sewn eyes, with sewn mouth. And then there was just like a scene of him like reading. It's like, I'm finally done with reading the Green Lantern. He just gets a brain blasted. Jimmy Neutron brain blasted.
Brain blast! Yeah, man, just give me the X-Men, dude. Yeah, just give us the X-Men.
Oh, this guy Logan.
Great movie.
I fucking love that movie. That's legit. Like I really love that fucking movie.
The more they that's one of my favorite things about Wolverine as a character is, you know, for someone who doesn't know the story that well, you see Wolverine, oh yeah, he's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's the universal feeling of like, yeah, Scott Summers is the leader of the X-Men. No. Logan is the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Cyclops.
Okay. Yeah, I can see, yeah.
Cyclops, the character that unless you play Marvel vs. Capcom or X-Men vs. Street Fighter, you don't really like very much.
Oh, okay, that's Cyclops, yeah.
Yeah. That's Cyclops. He's so fucking human, is Logan.
Yeah.
In every aspect. Even if you go back and you watch the X-Men cartoon, like the original 90s cartoon, Logan goes through some shit. And he meets a lot of people, too, that help him like get in tune with himself also. He goes through a lot of shit. And he keeps that on the wraps. It speaks through him when you see him like go through things with the rest of the team. But when Wolverine branches off on his own, you got a lot more heartfelt moments that you feel through James.
Yeah.
Mr. Howlett. Yeah. So I'm saying, man, either you go to New York and you go deeper into space. You got the Guardians, you have Captain Marvel.
I'm just so excited for Guardians 3. Yeah. Guardians 2, like...
As Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, as Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
I want it to be so bad.
Like, fucking... Oh, fuck, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is legit. Like, that's like... That is a fucking movie of my fucking lifetime. That shit is like...
It's a perfect example of like...
such amazing fucking film. Like, so many, like... cathartic ass moments where you see fucking God, I feel bad forgetting the fucking the dude's name, the fucking blue dude. You know what I'm talking about?
You gotta give me more.
The dude with the mohawk.
Oh, okay. All right, so you got.
I feel bad for fucking never remembering his name. I love that fucking movie, but I forgot fucking his name. But like when he just loses his mohawk initially in the second movie. And then, like, he just gets, like, a bigger one. Fucking see, like, him just take down an entire fucking, like, group. Fucking...
Solo.
Bad. Like, you have, like, him and fucking, like, Rocket Raccoon just shooting, like, everybody. In, like, just one room. They're not moving around in the beginning. It's just them. I love the fucking just zoom out. You see, like, the fucking, like, maze-like shit. You see all the arrows, like, fucking going through everybody. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fucking movie. They did Yondu. That's them. Yondu. They did him justice in that movie.
Here's to hoping that for the next 10 years, we get to see other characters of the Marvel Universe get the same play and the same amount of love that they gave the characters in the Infinity Saga. Everyone there, every character is loved to some degree.
Yeah.
Even Wong, who said, "I'm going back home to protect the estate while you guys save the universe."
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I guess we're going to here.
You want to watch Galaxy? You want to watch Guardians again?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, let's fucking watch it.
Let's do it. I probably need a drink of water.
All right, yeah, for man.
Almost 2 hours.
It's still summer, guys.
It's still summer. Like we're reaching the fucking. We're almost like reaching like the autumn time.
The Frosty's got to get frosty for now.
We fucking this This is fucking. I thought we were like fucking like talking about horror movies and shit, but like this was much better.
Stay tuned, y'all. If you want to talk about Hellraiser and Jason X,
God,
you know where to come. You know where to go to.
Hopefully I'll at least be a bit more in depth in this shit afterwards. But yeah.
We've made it. We're over the proverbial hump on this episode.
Yeah. This is the RATBOY.
RATBOYO. And your man's the Shining Wizard. Keeping it shiny.
Calling you out. I mean, wait, how does it go?
Calling you out? Cutting a promo.
This
My eyes are on you!
All right.
Woody Harrelson.
Fuck you, Woody Harrelson. Nah, you're good. You're good. You're cool. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.